Hello guys, welcome to the next video on shell scripting tutorial for beginners. In the last video we have seen how we can create our first script and how we can execute our first hello world script. Now in this video we will talk about comments and variables. So let's get started. So first of all, let's talk about comments because they are really easy to use and understand. So first of all, what are comments? Comments are the lines of code which are not executed by a script but are helpful to know some information about your scripts. So how we can write comments? We can write comments with a hash before a line of comments. So whenever you start a line of code with hash, then it will become a comment, right? So just write hash, and then when I write this is a comment, then this is a comment, right? And this will not be executed by your script, but it will give you some information about your script. And then the second way of writing the comment is like this also. So you write your code or line of code, and then after that start a hash, and then this is also a comment, right? So this will also be your comment and it will also not be executed, right? Now these are the two most common ways of using comments in your script. There are some other ways, but these are the most commonly used ways, right? Now let's talk about variables. So what are variables? Variables are the container which stores some data inside them, right? So whenever you define a variable, they store some kind of data. It can be a string data or any number or any other kind of data, right? Now in shell there are, or any Unix system, there are two types of variables. One is the system variable and other are called the user defined variables. Okay, so first is what are system variables. So system variables are created and maintained by your Linux or Unix operating system. So these are some predefined variable which are defined by your operating system, and the standard convention is these are the variables which are defined in capital cases, right? So whenever you see some variable which are capital, most likely they are the system variables. Now the other type of variables are user defined variables, and these types of variables are created and maintained by the user like us, right? And these type of variables are generally defined in lower cases, but there is no strict rule that you need to write your variables in lower cases. You can even write them in capital cases also. So let's see what are some system variable which we can use in scripts. So for example, I will write echo, and then you write a dollar symbol before a variable, and then there is a variable called, for example, bash, and it will give you your bash shell name, right? And let's just save your script and let's run our script. So I'm going to just run our script, and what it gives, this variable gives us the name of the bash or shell, right? There are some more variables, for example, echo bash version. So I'm going to just write bash version, and then it will give me the bash version, right? And let me just copy it a few times. And then there is one variable, for example, for your home, then you use home. This will give you the home directory. And then there is variable called pwd, present working directory. It will give you whatever present working directory you are working in, right? And there are some more variables in your operating systems, but you just need to search them, or just search system variables, right? So I'm going to just execute this script once again, and what it gives, first it gives me the bash name or shell name, then it gives me the bash version. So this is the version of bash I'm using, and then it gives me the home directory, and then it gives me the present working directory, which is desktop. So I'm working on my desktop directory, you can see here also, right? Now let's talk about the user defined variables, right? So how we can define user defined. So you can define user defined variables really simply by giving a name. So for example, I want to create a variable called name. So I will just write name here, and then I will just give a equal symbol here or equal sign here, and then the value. So for example, Mark. Okay, and how you can use this variable? You can use this variable with a dollar symbol before it. So I will just write echo, and then I will just write dollar here, and then the name of the variable. So my variable name is name itself, right? So it will give me the name. Now with echo, you can also write, for example, you can just write the name is and then the variable name, right? So this will give me the name, whatever this name variable contains, right? And I will just execute my script, and it prints the name is Mark, right? So your variable name can be used with your echo string with a dollar symbol before it, right? So in the same way, you can write some text here also, and it will work fine. So what we will write here is, for example, I will write our shell name is this one, right? Or our shell version name is something else. So our shell version name is this, right? Or for our home directory, we can just write our home directory is home. This is the system variable, right? Or for the present working directory or current working directory, we can write something like this. So our current working directory is this, right? And it will also work fine. So let's execute our script. Let me clear the terminal, and then I will just execute my script, and it gives me the output. So first of all, hello world, and then our shell name is this, our shell version name is this, our directory is this home directory, and then our current working directory is this one, and then we have defined the user defined variable, which is this one, right? Now let's define some other variables. So let me define 10, and then this can be the variable, right? You can think of this as a variable, and then I will name my variable as, for example, 10 well. Okay, just random, and then I will give you the value, give it the value of 10 here, right? And let's print this 10 here. So value, and then I'm going to just give the name of the variable, right? And let's see what happens. And I'm going to execute the script, and it gives me this kind of result, which is not the result we are expecting, right? So the problem here is the variable name should not start with the number, right? So if your variable name starts with a number, it will not be considered as a variable. So what it prints here is this value here, right? And it just disregards this kind of output, because it's not considering this value as a variable, right? And if you start your variable name with a normal letter, small or capital, it will be your variable. So let's print once again, and it prints the correct value of the variable, right? Your value can be, or you can define a variable in capital also, so something like value, something like this also, and it's totally fine. And let's print it. Let me clear the terminal first of all, and let's execute our script, right? And it executes the same results, right? So in this way, we have learned how we can use comments and variables with our script. So we have used system variables also, and we have used user defined variables also. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and bye for now.